Oh, I think we're live.
We are.
We are. That was so quick. So, welcome to this new Facebook Live series, my biggest body all moment so far. And I just wanted by talking about why I choose this topic for, meeting up with 6 awesome body class facilitators and look at it. So, what I was kind of getting like, most of the conversations that we have about bodies are about things that we would like to change. Like we would like to be thinner or stronger or pain free, something like that. Yet our bodies are these like sensory organisms that allows us to experience this physical and energetic world continuously every day if we just allow them to. And when we keep focusing on things that are wrong with our bodies, we're kind of missing some of that. So I wanted to explore what would be possible if we start to acknowledge and like claim those moments of magic, wonder, awe that we really are getting every single day with our bodies. So that's like the starting point. That's the starting question. And I wanted to ask Simone, who is my first guest who's kicking all of this off, what one of your greatest moments of body awe has been, or just a moment that pinks right now?
I was going to say, I think I'm in awe of my body all the time. It's like their bodies are amazing, absolutely amazing. And I've got to say, if I think what I've put my body through over the years, it's like, oh my goodness, and it's still here with me. And I wake up, and it just becomes greater and better and greater and better. Like I tortured my body as a younger person in the days of, taking lots of drugs and doing lots of things like that. It's like, oh my goodness, it's like the stuff I put into my body, and it still thrived, and it's here now, and it doesn't have a judgment about what I chose. I'm so incredibly grateful. So, but I would say that there's a few moments where I want to say slammed into being present with my body. We created that awe. And I'm going to say there's 2 times that I can think of that. One is years ago, I had a huge fibroid, and it was, the size of like a cantaloupe, rock melon. We call it rock melon in Australia. I'm not sure what you call it in Sweden. Something completely different.
Just a melon.
Well, it was not a watermelon, it was a rock melon, so different.
Like a honey melon, I think, or something.
Yeah. And it was that size, and it was in my uterus, and it was interesting because I was like, it was causing a whole lot of things with my body, and I knew I needed to get it out, and and people were also like, can't you get a body process? Can't you do this? And my body was like, get it out, like get it out now. And I was like, okay. So I did. I had surgery, and I had a hysterectomy, and I was so grateful for it and the changes that it created. And to notice, I was telling you this story about how I felt like an idiot in front of the doctor when I was like, I have a question for you. And he goes, yeah. And I said, you just took my uterus out and this massive fibroid. What's everything else doing in there now? And I was like, what's happening? And he goes, yes, well, he said, all your organs are rearranging themselves again. And I was actually talking to a guy yesterday who was working on my body, doing different things. And he said, your body's so amazing the way it doesn't look at this as a wrongness, but it's also not used to it. But it takes a little bit of time to sort of reorganize itself and rearrange itself and go, okay, this is my place, or how are we working together? Because he said the body's not meant to take something out. Do you know what I mean? And the way you be with it. And that was always really amazing for me, that how my body just on its own went, okay, how are we going to deal with this? What are we going to do?
It reminds me of the because we think that our bodies are like ordered into exactly how it should look like, and this is what it is. But our bodies are way more functioning from chaos.
Yeah.
So your body basically chaotically rearranged itself.
Yeah.
And had no issue with that. Well, we think that things has to be, a certain way. I find that that's part of the magic too, this chaotic way our bodies function.
Yeah, and well, and I'm going to say, let's add like instilling chaos, but also like that magic, the miracles, and the possibilities that go with it, because it really does.
Yeah.
Because the other time I was going to say that I fractured my ankle, and I did a spiral fracture up my ankle, and I was like, what the hell? Like this is like, and I had to have it in plaster, and then I ended up getting that taken off and getting a boot on, but there was like no weight bearing, and they said no weight bearing for 6 weeks. So that's a pretty odd thing when you're living in a house on your own, and all of a sudden, like I think the first morning I had a realization of it was I went and made coffee in my kitchen, and I'm standing there with my crutches and I'm making coffee, and I get my coffee ready, and I went, oh, I can't go anywhere with it. I was like, and so I literally stood there and drank my coffee and went, okay, what am I going to do about this? So I had some really cool friends all around here, and Lauren Marie was one of them. She came here and put glasses of water in every room, so that everywhere I went, I had a glass of water, and put a stool near the coffee machine so I could go over and do that. But the thing that I got so much from my body didn't have a judgment about what was occurring. It was just like, okay, we need to heal, we need to rest, we need to relax and receive. And that was probably one of the biggest lessons I got with the fracture in my ankle, was receiving. And I so get that it's about like what's right about it you're not getting. Like at that moment in my life, I was going through some other stuff, and I get my body, like creating that with my body. My body was like, hey, we need to relax and we need to receive. And it was something I really had to get very vulnerable with myself and with my body and go, okay, we're going to choose to do this, relax and receive. And it taught me so much. And the funny thing was, the doctor was like, okay, it's going to take X amount of weeks, blah, blah, blah. And of course I got body work continuously. And then I went back to the doctor, and I remember saying to him, well, I've been walking on my foot. And he goes, well, you shouldn't be. And I went, well, I have been, because I had been, like, I'm not going to lie to you. It's my body. This is what I've been doing. And then he goes, okay, so we x-rayed it. And he went, oh, he said, your leg is healed a lot quicker than what I thought. And I was like, And he goes, okay, well, I guess you can keep walking on it then. And I was like, yeah, thanks. So, but it was like that relaxation and receiving, and also receiving the body work was just off the charts, and how much my body was like, okay, let's heal quicker than what, quote unquote, they say. So definitely in awe of how much my body overrode any judgment or point of view I had, and created its reality as it knew how.
It reminds me, one of my greatest moments of actually body awe was several years ago. I'd done Access for a few years, and suddenly one Christmas Day morning, I could not pee. It was the weirdest thing. And I didn't even know that was really serious, that you couldn't pee. I'd never thought about it because, I've always been able to pee. But then actually you have to go to the emergency room, and there's like a whole thing that happens when you can't pee. It's very, very serious. So I got I don't know what they're called, like a little thing you pee in, like that's not you peeing. It's just there. It's very awkward. And I didn't like yeah, like they hooks you up with something so that the pee comes out, but you don't have to pee.
Yeah.
And it was very embarrassing for me. I didn't want to tell anyone this was going on. It was just so awkward and so embarrassing that I was having that. And then they said I had to have that for like, I don't know, like a month or something, because the bladder had to pull itself together, like the body's, the instillment of chaos again. And then when they took it off, nobody really found out what was wrong, right? They couldn't find anything wrong with me. But I still couldn't pee. It was the weirdest thing. Like I didn't know how to do it. I could kind of, but not really. And I kept working myself up. I was like, wow, like I get more and more stressed out. And I finally went to a really cool doctor who said, look, this is just in your head. You're kind of getting so stressed out now because you had this problem that we don't really care what it was. But now you are like continuously on high alert, and you're like a lion is coming after you. And when you have a lion hunting you, you don't want to pee. So your body goes into this like flight and fight mode, and it won't pee. And the only thing I can tell you is that you have to relax. And what happened was I had been doing all these body processes from Access, but they were all meant to fix the problem that I thought I had. And then instead, I started to run bars. I ran bars like crazy for like a week, and it all disappeared. like I had no problem peeing. And now still I am so incredibly grateful for my body's basic functions.
Mm.
Still when I go and pee, I'm actually so grateful. Like years after, I'm so grateful like when I can pee. And I'm like, oh my God, body, you're so good. You're so wonderful. You know how to do this. So it was such a moment of awe because it gave me a gratitude for something I've been taking completely for granted. And it
Yeah.
also showed me so much how our point of view creates our reality and how our point of view is what sticks us with our bodies all the time. So that gratitude that I still have, like I look at that, what a gift for my body to give me and then let me like keep having it really throughout like every day. It's like one of the greatest reminders because you pee every day.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
yes, you do a lot. So, hey, one of the things that you said, which I would love to sort of reiterate or explore on, is your body doesn't have to be fixed. And I think a
yes,
lot of people look at their bodies and go, oh, what have I got to fix? I mean, you said right at the beginning, it's like, whether it's like shape, size, weight, strength, all that sort of thing. But what if it never had to be fixed? Because your body doesn't have the point of view that it has to be fixed. I mean, I know when I had my hysterectomy, my body was like, get it out, like now. Because I was like asking my body, what is it that you would like? And it's like, out. And I was like, okay. But you know what? Maybe it's too much information. I don't know. But I was having really bad period for like 3 years, like horrifying. Like I couldn't go anywhere for longer than half an hour without having to go to the bathroom. So I remember saying, like asking the questions of going, God, what would it take for this to stop? Or what would have to happen? So not having a uterus, oh my goodness, it changes your life. If you don't want to have a kid, it was fabulous. So to me, it's like I was asking for that change to occur. And my body was like, okay, we created this fibroid. Here you go. Get the uterus out, get the fibroid out. Let's go. Like it didn't have a point of view and it wasn't looking like it had to be fixed. It was actually creating more ease for me. So it's and if you don't look at your body as something that has to be fixed, that you work with it, and it's like empowering your body to go, okay, what could we change here, or can we create more ease or more relaxation? Both yourself and myself have mentioned that it's like the
yeah.
relaxation. I mean, even if you're, I don't know, hiking, running, working out, or anything like that, it's like there's nothing to be fixed. It's like enjoy the movement and that relaxation. And what else can you create together, like as a creationship, you and the body? So I would love it if people started to come out of that place of nothing has to be fixed. It's like, what do you want to create? What do you want to actualize?
And it so reminds me of it never shows up the way you think it will. So you're asking for change, like with your body or in your life, and you expect it to show up the way you decided it should, and it never does. It shows up completely different. Your body heard you asking for a shift for your periods,
Yeah,
and it did create that.
yeah.
It just didn't show up
Quite
necessarily as
dramatic,
it should.
Not really, but
And it's in Dane's latest book, the Body Whispering book. He has this thing where he says the way to start body whispering is like 3 steps. And so the first one is understanding you're infinite, which is a huge conversation that we could have another time. And then start asking and start listening. And then he also says, be patient. And I was asking him yesterday about what does it really mean that be patient? He said exactly that. Like you ask for something and then you have to give the universe time to
Mm,
rearrange itself because there's all these pieces. And I
yeah,
would add be patient and then like truly acknowledge that magic wonder and like allow that to have gratitude for how amazing your body is in ways you cannot even fathom, and so that more comes of it. Basically, that's one of my requests, is really to start acknowledging even more every like magic wonder miracles that comes in life with our bodies and with everything, so that that is like the guiding energy, not
yeah,
the wrongness,
yeah.
of fixing.
Well, I don't know if it's whatever, but when I broke my ankle, I was in Tahiti and I was with a couple of friends, and admittedly we were having some cocktails, and I jumped off this wharf and I jumped off it backwards. And I realized that when you jump off a wharf forwards, your body will automatically sort of go, and have a look at what's going on, and it'll like you're going to this jumping mode where your knees go up. But I jumped off backwards, and then your body doesn't do that. I've learned. So when I landed and it was shallow, etc., it's like that's when I did the spiral fracture. But that day, because I was like, oh, I've hurt my ankle, but sort of thought, okay, maybe it's sprained, blah, blah, blah. I actually walked to a restaurant that night, like limping, but I walked to a restaurant that night, and I was with some friends. And at the end of the meal, I sat there and we were all like, okay, goodbye, And I looked at my friend Chris and I went, I can't stand up. And he was like, what do you mean you can't stand up? And I went, I can't stand up right now. I know I walked here, but I can't stand up. And he was like, oh no, get over it, And anyway, put me in the back of this little taxi thing that I had in Tahiti. And then I got to, my place and got there and woke up. But it's amazing how your body, like my body was so willing to work with me when it had this spiral fracture and still allowed me to move. Like it was like, okay, if you really want to get to from here to here, I'll work with you. And it's just, I don't know, it's amazing what we put them through. And if we're actually willing to listen to them more, then what communion could we truly have with them?
And I've been reading this book called Mutant Message from Down Under, which is, I think I'm sure
I actually just got it. And, you can't get it in Australia. I actually got someone to send it to me. Yeah, it's weird, huh? You can't get it in Australia.
It's a beautiful, that kind of makes sense after reading the book. If you haven't read the book, it's an amazing book. And it's also available as an audiobook. Actually, you can hear her tell the story. But I was listening to that yesterday, and in the very beginning, when she starts to go on this, what do you call it? Walkabout?
Walkabout.
Yeah. And so her feet are like our feet, they're not used to walking barefoot on sand and, raw earth. And in the evening, they're full of blisters and everything. And she sits down, and this part of the tribe is starting to work on her feet and like sings to them and uses different energetical frequencies to help the feet. But also what I really was struck by was the gratitude for the feet, for like being willing to walk with her and being willing to continue to walk even when it hurt, and for the feet being there her whole life, like that whole like serenade of gratitude to the feet, and how she describes how they starting to heal and have less pain. And I looked at that and I'm like, really our feet, we should truly have like a gratitude song for our feet. We walk on them all the time and we expect them to just be there. It's like our hands, these magical tools that we have that we could just put on somebody and there's something occurring, like, energetically healing, touch, all of that. And we just take them for granted, but they're there. Our feet, our hands, like our stomach, like all of it. I'm right struck by this, like the magic of just our bodies as they are. And
how it all works together. Yeah. It's funny that you say about that with walking on the ground, etc., because I just went to the beach not long ago. My niece is here at the moment and her boyfriend. And actually the two guys who live across the road, Percy and Yaku, I had a meeting with them, and it was just about sunset. And Ellen and Jeff said, hey, do you want to come to the beach and watch the sunset? So I was like, sure. So I went, hey, do you want to have our meeting on the beach? But we're walking across, and Ellen had shoes on, and Jeff went, why do you have shoes on? Don't you want to feel the gravel and then the grass and then the sand and then the bush and then the water, And it was because I never wear shoes like walking around here. And it is like some of the places that you walk, it's like, ow, ow. But then you get onto the grass, which softens everything on your feet. And then you get onto the sand, and it's like, it's beautiful. And then the water, like over your feet, it's like, it's such a contribution, all of that. So, yeah, it's like, get out there and get barefoot and allow your body to feel and contribute to you.
And even like when I came home, I've been in Mexico for 2 weeks, and I came home like late, 2 nights ago, and in the morning when I woke up, I walked out in my garden just to see, what had grown, what had changed in 2 weeks. And in Sweden, it's summer now. So everything had like exploded. And I was walking like bare feet on wet, dewy grass, and just perceiving like the softness of the grass, the wetness of the grass, and then the earth like under. And it ended up like laying down on the grass and just laying there and like saying hello with my body to Sweden, to the earth,
Yeah.
and just like, okay, here we are. And I also asked for my clock, like the, you know, that whatever the clock is called that we have in our system that tells us which part of the world we're in and when we're going to go to sleep. So I
Yes.
asked it to know, hey, let's acknowledge we're here now. And
Yeah.
today, like jet lag or
That's
anything,
a
the earth
wonderful tool.
literally
Yeah.
reset my clock. Again, moment of awe and magic, acknowledging like
Yeah.
the earth and the bodies together also have this really cool co-creation that they can do.
Yeah. I love that.
And I also remember one of the things with the walking on my brother, they lived like south of Sweden, and his kids, they talk about in the beginning of the summer, the gravel really hurts when they start walking, but they just
Right.
keep walking. And then in the end of the summer, they have that, the soles on their feet.
Look, I don't know how I'm going to go when I'm doing like a seminar or something like that. And I actually was in Perth not long ago, like a week ago or something, doing a body class, and I wore high heels every day, like boots with high heels. And I was like, God, my feet are sore. What are my feet sore from? And then I was like, oh, I've been wearing high heels because at home I've been
Mhm.
wearing slippers, runners, and then no shoes. Like I will wear no, because the beach is across the road, and I never wear shoes across the road to the beach. So that's what I've been choosing, and it's like a shock to my system when I'm wearing high heels. But it makes me laugh. It's funny. It's like, okay, body, you know, maybe we have a day of flats, a day of heels, because I like wearing heels too. So
Well, it is
yeah,
funny. It's become this foot conversation, but obviously our
but
feet are
a
like
foot
magical.
fetish.
Yes. Well, I remember Dane started to, kind of take his shoes off in classes more and more because he really enjoys like having his feet on the ground and having
Mm,
like socks with little, where all the toes actually are out and can kind of
yeah.
move. And there is like that in itself is an acknowledgement to the feet, how much they contribute to
Mm,
him, to the classes, to everything, and the willingness to go, this is what you want, feet. You want more, more touch with the earth. Here you go. That's what you get. So I think that asking, like, okay, feet, can we do each another day? I have a similar thing with high heels for the moment. they're not really, they're
Well,
not
we
always
haven't done it in so long. It's like it's been
yeah.
18 months or something of constant high heels, and now it's like, I don't know, slippers, no shoes, and runners.
Oh, actually, that's reminds me, like, as the end thing. So would you say that our sense of magic and wonder with our bodies has increased during these months of the pandemic, or at least, for you and people
Uh,
around you?
yeah, look, I would say personally, yes. But there has definitely been moments like that in my life. Like I mentioned when I had the hysterectomy, and, they were like, you've got X amount of weeks to heal. And of course I was like, I'm going to watch all these movies and read all these books and do all this stuff. And that was pretty full on. And I sat outside on my balcony, and I have this, beautiful day bed and all these amazing native trees, which is native birds, etc. And I sat on that balcony on that couch for a lot of hours and just watched the trees and listened to the ocean and listened to the birds. And I remember talking to Gary at one point, Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, and said, because I was just talking about this energy that I was aware of. And he said, well, so many people have sort of walked upon the earth. And he said, now, like the communion that you have with the earth, he said, are you walking with it, like being with it? And I was like, yeah. And ever since that moment, like, what's right about it you're not getting, which is a great question, a great tool of having this operation and then healing, on my balcony with people would come and like I'd get body work on my balcony with the birds and the trees and the sound of the ocean. And ever since then, there's a different energy I know I've been with the earth.
Yeah.
And so I think there's been moments in one's life that if you look at that, you can, and it's usually, I'm going to say it's usually something where it's you and the earth and your body, because it seems to be easier to have that sort of, triangulation, you, your body and the earth.
Mm.
And since I've been home, I have spent a lot of time on my own. Like I know there's people who've spent a lot of time together. Like I think people have the diversity, and I've spent a lot of time on my own, and it's been pretty amazing like that, and really hearing my body and listening to it and knowing what it's asking for and playing with that too. Like, not about getting it right. It's like, choosing something and thinking it's going this one direction, then it's like, oh no, hang on a second, maybe it's asking for this. And really playing with that energy from a movement a lot. Like, anyone else would say I've been fickle because, I've joined one gym and I do that. And then I'm like, I'm done. I was like, my body was getting injured so much. And I was like, okay, I like that movement, but I don't think my body likes that movement. Okay, so what next? And really having a look at the movement that my body would like, whether it's some months it's like I would run, every day or 3 or 4 times a week. And then for 3 months I was like, I haven't run once, but my body was not asking to run. It was asking to walk or do Pilates or something. I generally would say my body likes to move at some point during the day, like do some sort of movement. But I know I've come out of the, like, I guess the judgment and the expectation, the projection that it has to look a certain way or that it has to be for a certain amount of time. Like sometimes if I'm even just stretching for 20 minutes on my lounge room floor, it's like, my body's like, oh yeah, that's great, but then I might go for like a high intensity workout or go for a really long hike or something. But then the next day it's not, it's like do some light Pilates or do some full on Pilates. And I've really noticed how much I've been in question with it, with no expectation of what that has to look like. And that to me, I can't tell you the space that creates. Like I think I've fought with my body for pretty much the majority of my life. And like it was asking for one thing and I was always fighting against it, and including food. It's like food, movement, all of that, sort of almost like that, with that energy of like, it can't be this easy. Well, It actually is that easy. And there's a space when you have that moment, and every day is like this, in awe of your body. When you have those moments of being in question, it actually, that space that gets created, it's like, no one can take that away from you and your body. And when you be that space with your body, it's the magic, the miracles, the possibilities show up beyond what you could ever like work out or go to the how. It's the instilling chaos.
I'm so grateful you said the thing about being fickle, because I have a very similar way, like where I like doing a particular workout for a while and then I change to something else. And sometimes my body exactly is saying, I really like the workout, but it doesn't work for my body. And I actually do get hurt. It shows me like, look, this is not for us. Like we need to do something different. And then I move, like I run for one, and I'm just so grateful you said that, because I think I've had the point of view again that that was just me being wrong or lazy even. So everywhere any of you who are on this have had the sense that you're fickle or don't want to stick to anything, what if we create and destroy all of that and allow ourselves to truly be in the question for what to move, what to eat? So thank you so much for that. That just
You're so welcome.
Contributed great relaxation to my body.
Good. And that's what it should be. From relaxation, you can run. From relaxation, you can stretch. You can do Pilates. You can do yoga. You can, play volleyball. From relaxation, it's like you can do something that's high intensity or something that's really, slow movement. It's like, none of it's right or wrong. It's just a choice.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to address one question that came in the thread. So how do you turn up the volume of your body? It's so easy to overrun it. How would you answer? Like, how do you turn up the volume of your body's whispering, Simone?
Do you know what? I'm going to say it's practice, and it's sort of like that moment when you get it, because you did say it's so easy to override it. It is. And the thing is, when you're overriding your body, when you're, I don't know, eating food or working out too hard. And it's like I hurt myself at Pilates once, and I was doing these wall stands. And I was having fun doing the wall stands. And my Pilates instructor said to me, "Are you done?" And I went, No, I'm just going to do 2 more. I'm going to do it because we were doing this certain system. But my body was done. And I actually, I was saying, oh, I'm having so much fun, but I hurt myself, right? And Gary said to me, whenever you say I'm having so much fun, you need to stop. And I got so cranky because I was like, what do you mean I need to stop when I'm having fun? Because having fun is having fun. but he never says anything that's just like this throwaway thing that doesn't have some depth to it, you know. So I looked at it and I went, oh, I realized the second I say I'm having fun, or even if you go, oh God, these taste amazing or whatever, have a look at the energy. Have you now stopped asking your body? And that's what I realized. The second I go to, I'm having so much fun. Like my body was fine doing wall stands, but it didn't want to keep on doing them. It was like, well, we're done. We're cool. Can we move on now? So have a look at that energy for you. If that sort of reads for you when you say, I'm having so much fun, or, oh my God, this is amazing. And it's like, is that the moment that you stop asking your body? So,
and somehow that's the moment also where you go to conclusion, which actually locks it, because you're deciding, now I'm having fun, or this tastes amazing. I just realized that when you were saying it, that's like, crunk, and there we are out of the question.
Well, you could go, this tastes amazing, and you have a bite or you have a mouthful or whatever it is, and it is amazing. But because you go, oh, I decide this tastes amazing, you go, I'll have more, I'll have more, I'll have more. Whereas your body's like, we really enjoyed that. That was awesome. That was epic. And we don't want any right now. We might have someone in an hour. I don't know. But it's like, okay, body, you know. And one of the things I've always done is go, I'm so sorry I'm not as smart as you, body. You know, is there another way that you could give me this information? Because it's true. It's like we just, you know, our bodies don't judge us. We judge them. So it's like, but what if we could start listening to our bodies in a different way?
Yeah, I think we'll end on that. But that question is brilliant. Like, hey, body, I realize you're smarter than me. So what would it take, you know, for us to co-create greater together, and for me to hear you in a way that works for both of us? Thank you so much for coming on and exploring. Yeah. And thank you everyone for listening. And I'll put the links to the books that we mentioned also in the under the replay of this, because I didn't really have time to write the exact authors and everything. So I'll do that. So if you're looking for them, you can find them and explore them. So thank you again, Simone. And
thank you, Katarina, and thank you for asking me to be on here.
And if anybody wants to explore even more magic and wonder, the body classes, the bars classes, you know, the body process swaps, all of that is really where we get to play with this energy of learning to listen and to talk with our bodies and experience this magic that they truly be. So have a look at that if you would like to try it some more. And bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.